Hi, welcome to Check the Dose. My name is Andy Irish, and I'm going to walk you through how to use the app in the field and also some of the features that it has. Let's start from the beginning. The login page will look something like this. You're going to enter your email address and your password. For this example, we're going to use a demo version that we have. Yours will work the same, but it's just going to be a little different. When you first log in, this here may take 2 to 3 minutes to install. Every time after that, it's going to be a lot faster. So we'll go ahead and zip ahead here on our clock. Okay, now what the app just did is it downloaded your department's information. The whole point of Check the Dose is to provide you exact dosing information based on the protocols that you carry and the equipment that you carry, all the drips, everything that pertains to your agency is going to be listed here. I'll try and keep my phone from pivoting. I can probably turn that feature off so we don't have to deal with that. There we go. So it's going to start looking something like this, and I'll point out some things here for you. One, you can confirm that you got the right department, that it's your data. You'll have your information there. This here we called our weight slider, age slider. You'll see that it starts at a 3 kilogram newborn, and you just slide it across, and it'll go all the way up to 150 kilos. One feature we added is you can reverse that. So I'm going to quickly show you how to do that. Under here, down under settings, you can click this here called age selector and just toggle that back, and it will now reverse. So then you need to shut the app down and reopen it, and you'll see that it comes on a lot faster. And there it is. So now it's in reverse order. So you can start with 150 kilos if that's something that you wanted to do. But for our example here, we'll stay in this way, and you basically just need to shut it down and reopen it. Once it reopens, it'll be back. As you can see, it opens real quick. It's back in this one here. So along the top edge here, you'll see approximate age in months, up to years, also kilogram weights and pound weights. So if you don't know their exact weight, you can estimate based on their age. If you're there with a parent and they say what they weigh in pounds, it gives you that there. So before you can really do anything on the app, you need to select a weight. Okay. So for our example, let's just stay in the pediatric world for this first example and say we are 7 years old, 28 kilograms or 61 pounds. And notice up here, this here changes to match this color. Also, you can see all your stuff, and here are the baseline vital signs for that one that you selected. If you select a different one, color changes. We can go up to adult. All that stuff changes. Go to 4 months, all that changes. So we'll go back to the one we had. Got ahead of myself there. 7 years. You can do a few things here. Currently, the app has some ability to lock itself. If you push the lock button, now you can no longer, if you tap any of these, nothing else changes. I'm pushing other sliders right now, nothing changes. This is not that important once you select it. It just helps you prevent. So I usually leave it unlocked. One other feature will stay in this area is the age selector. If you push edit age, notice the slider changes, and you can say, well, I know how much I weigh, but they're not that age. They're actually 6. So now you can say 6. So now you see it says 6 years old, which is 28 kilos. Even if you go to the slider, it will show you that 28 kilos is actually a 7-year-old. But people are different weights and sizes and ages. So this comes into play if your protocols have an age restriction. Particularly one that I can think of in the agency I work for is ketamine. For excited delirium, you got to be 15 years old. So if you marked their weight up here and then you changed them, put their age and made them 14, the app will then not show you ketamine for that specific excited delirium. Okay, so let's keep working down here. So we've selected our age and our weight. We're going to stick with our 6 years at 28 kilos. There's 2 ways to get to all your medication information. The first way is through meds and equipment. This is going to show you, if I'll tap on it, every medication that I carry and the exact dose to give for 28 kilos, the volume and the route. You'll notice under every name there's a description. This one says acetaminophen fever. This one says amiodarone cardiac arrest pediatric. This one says albuterol multiple treatments. That's because albuterol can be given for a lot of different things and the dose is the same for all of them. Whereas if you found one that had different dosing, here you go, here's a good example. Epinephrine 1-to-1 multiple treatments, epinephrine 1-to-1 for croup. So for this particular protocol, they treat epinephrine, croup with 5 milligrams. Here, everything else is 0.3. So if you click on epinephrine multiple treatments, it then shows you the individual treatments that it's used for. But you'll notice that the dosing is all the same. So if you know your dose, or you know you're giving epinephrine and it's not for croup, you can use this page back here and it would show you, oh, my dose is 0.3 milligrams, which is also 0.3 mLs for IM dosing of that one. But if you want to verify what it is exactly, you can tap on that button and you'll know it's for allergic reactions or asthma. That's what this protocol is. Yours may be different. Okay, so again, you see all your listing of everything here. Now, if you have the iPhone, yours is going to look different than this, and I'm going to show you. You can actually modify this. So if I go here to settings again, down here on the bottom was a settings button. I have this thing right here called small screen mode. If I tap small screen mode and I go back, I got to go back twice to this one, go back in. Now it's going to look like this. Now if you have an Apple phone, this is probably what you're seeing, a different layout. Provides the same information, it just looks a little bit different. All your medication names, what they're used for. Here, see, here you go, amiodarone cardiac arrest ped. I'll find that same epinephrine one we had. Right here, epinephrine multiple treatments, epinephrine croup, right there. There's my concentration of my drug. Here's the dose. Here's the volume. Here's the route. So it's the same. If you like this look and you have an Android phone like I do, you can easily toggle this to this. If you have an Apple phone, it automatically goes to this. If your screen is bigger, you have an Apple phone that has a bigger screen, you can try the other mode. The issue that you'll sometimes have is that it won't work on my screen because my screen has the real estate for it. But these things will start getting cut off. So you'll need to know what you're looking at. That's why we created that other mode, so you can see everything you need to see. If you look at it and you try it and things get cut off like this, concentration here gets pushed down below the line, you can't see it, you'll probably need to switch to that small screen mode so you can have the one you want. Okay? So this is where you're going to provide every information, every drug you carry, the dose, what it's for, the concentration. You always need to make sure you have the right concentration because this information, the volume, is based off of the concentration. The dose is accurate because that's just the dose. But how much volume do you pull out of the vial is based on the concentration. So you want to always make sure that your concentration listed on check the dose matches the concentration of the vial you have. If for some reason yours doesn't, you need to get a hold of your whoever administrates your version, and they need to get a hold of me so we can correct that because the dose and the volume should be accurate based on your tools. Okay, so that's all this page. If you go to drips right here, there's some cool things here. So here's the drips based on this weight and age, and the drips that are assigned in your protocols. How to mix them. So for this particular one, this amiodarone, you're going to take 140 milligrams and you're going to put it in a 250 ml bag. That 140 milligrams is based on the 28 kilos because that's what the protocol was. You're going to drip that at 125 drops a minute using a 10 drop set. That will get you the dose. If I tap on amiodarone here, it takes me into this. So this is what my dose is. So amiodarone is given for VTAC for pediatrics using the 20 drop drip set over 20 minutes. My max dose is 150 milligrams, so this is my drops per minute is 125, that calculated. Here's my dosage that is from my protocol, which is 5 milligrams per kilogram. And so because of that, it does the math and it creates 140 milligrams in a 250 ml bag. Okay, so that's going to drip it at that rate. Now, how do you drip 125 drops a minute? Or how do you drip 104? Or how do you drip between 5 and 21 for dopamine? We have this cool drip tapper right here. All you have to do is tap on this button and it will create a drip rate for you. So if I need to get to 125, I need to be dripping about right there. 125, right in there. Tap, 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 tap. There's about my drip rate. So you can set that. If I need to go in here, multiple treatments, I need 42 for epinephrine. I'm doing a epi drip, which here you go, for bradycardia, cardiogenic shock, allergic anaphylaxis. Here's an example of that sizing issue I told you about. Shock blunt penetrating trauma, see how that gets cut off? So this sizing didn't work well for that. There's too much information there. But if I want to drip at 42, I start my drip, I can figure it out. There's 45, 42, drip, 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 drip. So I'm right kind of in the ballpark area there. So that's a kind of a cool feature. Okay, so there's all your drips. All right, now we go across here to equipment. Again, this is all the equipment based on the protocols that are entered in for this particular agency for a 28 kilogram kid. Okay, so you got NG tubes, airway blades, suction catheters, tubes, cuffed depths of that tube. If you use King Airways, nasals, what the shock is, what pads to use, defibrillation, what first shock, second shock, synchronized cardioversion, first, second, third shocks. All of this is customized for you. So if you see something on here that you don't carry, you need to tell your administrator. If you don't see something that you carry, you need to tell your administrator so we can fix that for you. So the whole point here is that you have everything that you would need on a call. Okay, so that kind of is the quick overview of this meds and equipment. Again, if you go to an adult and you select meds and equipment, again, there's everything there for a 60 kilogram adult, all of your dosing, adenosine first dose, second and third dose, amiodarone, aspirin, epinephrine, mag, everything. All listed here, okay? Again, if you tap on succinylcholine right here, it then tells you everything about succinylcholine and what was entered in for succinylcholine based on your protocols. Now, one thing that I've been asked is, what about contraindications? How do you know contraindications? Well, we didn't want to put contraindications in here because we want to create as little room for error. So what we did here is down here you see the protocol button. Succinylcholine is our medication. If I push this protocol button, it's going to pull up succinylcholine protocol. Okay, obviously this one just says medication because this is a demo. So this would be your protocols for succinylcholine. You would find what it was used for, what the dose is, what the contraindications for. It's a PDF of your protocol. So this way there's no retyping errors and making mistakes and retyping it. So it links right to it. That works with any medication that you see here. So let's do another one. Let's say fentanyl. We go click on fentanyl. I push protocol for fentanyl. There's my fentanyl protocol. So if you want to refer to anything of your drug information in your drug protocols, that's one good way to do that. Okay, it's pretty quick. Okay, so that covered this meds and equipment. That protocol button works also in the drips, right? If you go to a drip and you want to look up dopamine drip, you click on meds and equipment, click on your drips, find the dopamine, open up that drill down page, and then you hit protocol, and you'll see everything about dopamine that's in your protocols. Now, that's how to view everything. Personally, when I'm working on a call, I don't like using that way. I like using that way just for general knowledge. If I'm going to a call, I like to go on this treatments one, and let me show you why. So let's go back. Let's say we're going to, we'll say a 5-year-old, 22 kilogram, and we select treatments. That big button there. This here is going to list all the treatments that are in our protocols. Everything that is treated for a 5-year-old. Notice you don't see adult things in here like COPD, right? Because that's not in here for a 5-year-old, but you've got everything else. So now, you can actually now select the item, the treatment that you are going on for that kid. So let's keep it easy and say we're going on a kid who's having an asthma attack, okay? Dispatched to a 5-year-old having difficulty breathing due to asthma. You click on your weight, you then select asthma. It opens up. Now, notice that there's not a huge list here. This is only 4 medications. The particular protocols that the current app is built on only has 4 things that they give, besides drips over here. Albuterol, Atrovent, epinephrine, and methylprednisolone. You don't have to hunt for those. They're all 4 listed right there. You're already familiar with the look of the name, what it's used for: asthma, 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 asthma. What the concentration is for each of those medications, what the dose is, what the volume is, and what the route is. All is listed right there. There's also a drip, because that, if there was no drips, this wouldn't be here. Notice that there's no equipment because they haven't assigned any equipment for asthma. You might want to. You might want to have your information posted there for drips, equipment for phone getting notified. So what if we tap drips? You can see mag sulfate. We have a drip for mag sulfate. We put 1,100 milligrams in a 250 bag. Drip it at 125. If you want to remember, if you want to look at that, you tap on it. Oh, I'm giving it over 20 minutes. That's how it gets the rate. I can use my drip rate tapper to set that, right? Okay, so let's go. Oh, let's stay in asthma. Now again, let's say you want to read the asthma protocol. Before that, protocol button went to the specific medication, but depending on the page that you're on, tells what the protocol button is going to go for. So right now we are on a treatment page. The treatment is asthma. If I tap on a name of one, I'm in the drill down page for Atrovent. Okay, so I want to stay on asthma. Now, if I push protocol, it takes me to the asthma protocol. This is not just an individual drug. This is more of how do you treat asthma? What are the medications, right? So your protocols will be listed right here. So that works on any of these. I'll pick another one. We'll go back and say seizure. You're on a 5-year-old in seizure. There's my seizure drugs for SED that this agency uses. There's no drips. Notice there's no drips. They don't have any equipment needed. All I need to know are this is how I treat seizure. If I push protocol, it takes me to seizure protocol. Okay, really easy. You didn't have to hunt. You don't have to look for anything. It's all right there. Now, let's get into another neat thing about this app. This button down here that says checklist. Notice the color of it is red. If I go to another one, let's try pain management. Okay, notice it's gray. Now, pain management has 2 medications that I give for it. I can push protocol to view the pain management protocol. I can tap on individual names if I want to read information about that drug and what the dose is. I can tap protocol to look at that, see if there's any contraindications for fentanyl on the patient that I have. But notice the checklist button is gray. There's no checklist there. What is a checklist? Oh, I went back too far. Oh, I didn't, because I want to go here. Seizure, back to seizure, where it's red. Checklists, a lot of agencies are starting to use checklists, sort of like airline pilots, checking every button, make sure everything's done. Have you selected the right medications? Have you covered all the right things? Have you checked blood sugars? Have you done this? Just a way to verify. When it goes red, you know that there's a checklist available for this seizure. You push it, and there's my seizure checklist. This is something that your department creates. It allows you to, did I hit all the important markers for seizure? Things that are commonly missed would be listed right here. Notice, I did not have to go hunting. I just walked right down the line. I selected my weight. We'll pick a new one. 6 years old, went to treatments. I could even do this in route to tell you you're 6-year-old in seizure. Go to seizure, Click on it. Oh, Versed, I know the drugs I need. Let's look at the checklist. There's my seizure checklist. Let's go back. Let's review the protocol for seizure. Okay, good. And now I can keep this in my pocket, and I've got everything there. I didn't have to flip pages. I didn't need to look. And this works the exact same for adults. So if let's go back to the slider. Back to the slider here. Let's go to, oops, again, hit the wrong button. Let's go up to an adult, 100 kilograms, treatment, cardiac arrest. Got a red checklist for cardiac arrest. I can review my protocol for cardiac arrest. I've got all my drugs, all my drips, all my equipment. Here's my drip. Here's all my equipment that I would need, how to defibrillate an adult. We don't typically list, you can, adult tube sizes because they're usually pretty standard, but we can. This particular agency didn't. They just put the joules. All of our drugs, checklists, protocols, okay? Pretty simple. The idea here is that everything going to a call under treatments is listed there. You can get to every protocol, every checklist, every drug dose, everything by going this way. This way you have to kind of hunt a little bit, right? You have to look for, oh, what drug am I looking for? I'm looking for ketamine. Well, okay, where is it? Now I'm hunting. Oh, there it is. Ketamine. Well, there's a bunch of different doses. So I have excited delirium twice. Why is there two? Different routes. Pain management. There's the IV dose for it. All right, stuff like that. When it comes to repeating doses, that all gets put in the drill down. So if you tap here, notes, may repeat at half a dose. So you know for this one, there's a 15, there's a minimum age. Remember we talked about minimum ages? Right in there. That comes into play. My agency, 13 kilograms is what you have to be to RSI a pediatric. And I'd have people select a 12 kilogram and call me and say, hey, there's an error in the app because it doesn't show us how to RSI this kid. And I said, well, what did he weigh? And they tell me what he weighed. And, well, actually the app prevented you from breaking protocol because it didn't give you the information for RSIing that particular weight. It wasn't heavy enough. So that's a good reason to look at the protocols. Refer to them if you think there's a dosing error. If you ever find a dosing error, contact your administrator who administrates this to get a hold of me so we can fix it. All right. So that's the quick way of understanding the slider, how to toggle that, meds and equipment, how it shows everything, how to toggle between the two different views. If you like it, I like this view better, but I have an Android phone. If you have an Apple phone, you'll have the other view. And if you like the other view, you can toggle it. It's up to you. Okay, we covered treatments. This is the great tool, go into a call, not having to hunt for anything. You just select the weight, the treatment, what it is, and it gives you all your protocols, checklists, everything for that treatment. Okay, let's go to these bottom buttons down here from this home screen. These are going to do different things than they did before. Okay, they're basically going to show you a list. So right now, if I push checklist, it's going to show me all of the checklists that my agency has provided. It's going to break them into groups, and you can see there's different ones. If I tap on them, again for this demo, it's just blank, but maybe you have a no transport checklist. Did you do this? Did you call? Did you ask them multiple times? Did you get a signature? Things like that. Okay. Now, it's important to know that not all checklists require to be assigned to a treatment. Like no transport, there's no medications in there. So you would never get to a no transport checklist by going through treatments because there's no transport treatment, right? That might be the only one on this current list. But you may have other procedures that you have, landing zone procedures, or what else do we have? Standalone emergency rooms, things like that. You can load anything you want in here, but they don't necessarily have to be assigned to a treatment. So this is a way to just see a list of all the checklists that you have. If you someone pulls up and says, hey, pull up the asthma checklist, sometimes it's just faster to just go, checklist, asthma, and just go that way, rather than selecting a weight, finding a treatment, going to the red button on the bottom. If you just need it for reference, it's a great, quick way to do it, just seeing a giant list. Protocols, I'll skip references, I'll come back to that. Protocols, this is basically your protocol book. Every protocol you have listed out right there. This particular one, again, is a demo, so it's laid out a bit differently. Yours may have categories for, cardiac, trauma, pediatric, things like that. So it may, medical, it may list out individual categories and then every page underneath that category. But this, if you used to pull a book out of your library for your protocols and turn a page and go to the index, that's this right here. Everything is listed here. So not every protocol in here is in the treatments either. This one it is because this is the demo, but you're gonna have the beginning pages. Here's how you do these procedures. Here's how you do that. Here's how you make those calls. They may not be listed under treatments, but they'll be here. So this is a great way to find any of your protocols. Okay, I can show you one. It's just going to be the basic page that I created for the demo here. This would be your sepsis protocol for your agency. Okay. Excuse me. So let's talk about references. References they don't get assigned to anything. Checklists get assigned to treatments. Protocols get assigned to treatments and medications. References don't get assigned to anything. They are just reference material. Here's examples. Your agency can create any references you want. If you turn it into a PDF, you can push it up here. You create different categories. For our example, we've got EKG things, if you need to remember what they are. Procedures, your department procedures on how to set up a landing zone or how to do water rescue. Again, these water rescue reference, they're just samples. But anything you can load up here, and I even left this here, what is a reference? It kind of explains what it is, that you can load anything you want. Anything you want your providers to have access to, you can push and pull these off the program as you want. Maybe you have seasonal things you want to put on. Some people put MCI cards on here. What else have people put? Stroke procedures, just things that you want people to remember. Maybe you have a certain patient in your jurisdiction that has certain things that they need done. I've had an agency get a signed document on how they treat one particular person in their agency. They're kind of a smaller area, and they put that here so their providers always has something to reference and their references. Okay. Contacts, again, whatever you want your providers to have access to, you put here. If you're the provider, you can go in here and you can select, well, I'm going to the hospital. So you select the hospital. Well, here's my hospital. This one I've only put 2 on here, for example, but you're going to have, maybe you transport to 10 different hospitals. I don't know, maybe you only go to 2. This list gets built around what you need. Here's their phone number. If you tap on their phone number, see what mine does here. It pulls up your dialer and goes to call them, okay? Since that number is fake, that's not gonna work. All right, but that number there would be the phone number that you provided. You tap on it and it calls. If you tap on the actual hospital name, I'll do that here, it's going to provide you additional information on that hospital, including door codes. Maybe they change their door codes a lot. You can do that here. Addresses, the address will map to it. If you select the map, the address, it will pull up your mapping and it will map you to that hospital. Okay, right there. Okay. Trying to think what else is on this that this one doesn't have. If it has multiple phone numbers, maybe there's a cell phone, maybe there's a station number, that'll list them all there. The initial one is basically the main phone number that uses. So maybe you go to my fire department, then you need to call, well, this one's station 1, right, just a demo. This would be your station number. You can tap that and it'll call your station. You could list out all your engines, medics. You can do other fire departments, additional resources, law enforcement, whatever category you create, you put in here, and you can get in here and create the phone numbers for your people or you to have access to at any point. Okay. The final one, settings. We covered this a little bit about the age selector newborn. Again, changes the direction of the deal. Small screen mode changes how the medications are laid out and what it looks like. Log off, pretty self-explanatory. Basically logs you out of the app, closes it down, shuts it down, deletes all the content. Sync data. This is basically syncing the app to what is current. The app itself updates every 30 days. So we used to have it update every 24 hours, but we had a problem with people having poor coverage, and even if they had a little bit of coverage, it would take 5 minutes to open the app because it was doing a thing going off into the cell towers or the Wi-Fi that had a bad signal. So what I've learned is that people don't change stuff very often. So we added this sync data button, which basically allows you to manually update it. If you push this button, the app shuts down. All you have to do is reopen it and it will start re-downloading. If you push log off, the app shuts down. When you reopen the app, it goes back to that login screen, and then you have to enter in your login again. So this one, if you're not planning on logging off or changing accounts, sync data, shuts it off, you reopen it, it keeps you logged in, re-downloads like that first one to get all new updated information. It's probably a good idea at the beginning of every shift to do that just to make sure, but like I said, agencies don't change their information very often, but if they do, it's important that you are updated. So that would be a recommendation. So that's it. That's kind of the quick use of how to use the app and what each button does. I think I got all of it. If you have any questions, feel free to email, call me, whatever. I'll provide my information to you. It is also located under contacts, under check the dose right there. There's my phone number. And you can call. If you know somebody who's interested in this product, have them call me. If you have ideas on things that maybe we could add or features, feel free to let me know. This app was created out of necessity for myself and as a practicing paramedic since 2008. I created this a couple years ago based on tools that I knew that I needed that would help me. We're all told to memorize everything. Well, you just can't. You can't memorize everything. You're going to make mistakes, and so check the dose really helps prevent those mistakes. So feel free to mess around with it. If you have any questions, again, let me know. Thanks for your time, and I hope you enjoy this product.